Namaste. Let us chant the Purusha Suktam. Om Tacham Yora Pranimahe Gatum Yajnaya Gatum Yajnapataye Daivi Swastirastu Naha Swastirmanushebyah Urdhvajagatu Bheshajam Shanno Astu Tvipade Shanchatushpade Om Shanti 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 Om Sahasrashirsha Purusha Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva Atyatishtat Dashangulam Purusha Evedagum Sarvam Yat bhutain yat cha bhavyam utamritattvasya shanaha yadannena tirohati etavanasya mahima ato jaya guscha purushaha pado osya vishva bhutani tripadasya divi tripadurdhva udait purushaha Pado osyeha bhavat punaha tato vishvang vyakramat sashananashane abhi tasmaat viradajayata virajo adipurushaha sajato atyaritsyata paschad bhumimatho puraha yat purushena havisha deva yajyamatanvata Vasanto asya sidajyam Grishma idma sharadhavihi Saptasya sanparidhayaha Trisapta samidakritaha Devayat yagyantan vanaha Abadhnan purushan pashun Tan yagyan barhishi praukshan Purushan jatamagrataha Tena deva ayajanta sadhya rishayaschaye tasmaat yagyat sarvahutaha sambhritam pishadajyam pashugastagaschakre vayavyan aranyan gramyaschaye tasmaat yagyat sarvahutaha richasamani jagnire Chanda gumsi jaggire tasmaat yajustasmadajayata tasmadashva ajayanta ye kecho bhayadataha gavoha jaggire tasmaat tasmaat jata ajavayaha yat purushan vyadaduhu katidha vyakalpayan Mukhan kimasya kau bahu kavurupadavujyete brahmano osya mukhamasit bahu rajanyah kritaha urutadasya yat vaishyaha padbhyam shudro ajayata chandrama manaso jataha chaksho suryo ajayata Mukhadindraschagnischa pranat vayurajayata nabhya asidantariksham shirshnodyau samavartata padbhyam bhumirdishashrotraat tata lokagum akalpayan vedahametam purusham mahantam Adityavarnam tamasastu pare sarvani rupani vichitya dhiraha namani kritva bhivadan yadaste dhata purastadhyamuja jahara shakraf pravridvan pratishachatasraha tamevam vidvan amrita iha bhavati Nanyah pantha ayanaya vidyate yagyena yagyamayajanta devaha tani dharmani prathamanyasan te hanakan mahimanas sachantre yatra purve sadhya santi deva adbhyas sambhuta prithivyairasa acha vishvakarmanas samavartatadhi tasya tvashta vidadat rupameti tat purushasya vishvamajanamagre vedahametam purusham mahantam adityavarnam tamasaf parastat tamevam vidvanamrita iha bhavati nanyaf pantha vidyate yanaya prajapatischarati garbhe antaha ajayamano bahudha vijayate tasya dhirah parijananti yonim marichinam padamichanti vedasaha yo devebhyo atapati yo devanaam purohitaha purvo yo devebhyo jataha namo ruchaya brahmaye ruchan brahman janayantaha deva agre tadabruvan yastvaivam brahmano vidyat tasya deva asanvashe Shrishchate Lakshmischa Patnyau Ahorartre Parshve Nakshatrani Rupam Ashvinau Vyatam Ishtam Manishana Amam Manishana Sarvam Manishana Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Excuse me. Let us say our opening prayer. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravabhai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So let us complete the first 4 verses of Purusha Suktam, and we have done the first 3, and the 4th one is a adjunct of the number 3. So let's look at that one. So Tripadurdhva Udait Purushaha Pado Osya bhavat punaha tato vishwang vyakramat sashanana shane abhi. Here's the 4th verse. So in the 3rd verse we saw etavanasya mahima. So the mahima which was talked about in the first 2 verses was explained. He says up to this is his glory. And so the glory is remarkable in the sense that it is the Purusha itself that encompasses the whole creation. There's nothing else that does that. And so this is a remarkable thing. And it said that not only space-wise but also time-wise, that whatever it was ever been, people quibble about whether Mahabharata was written in this year or that year, and when Gita was written, when the Upanishads were written. It doesn't matter when they were written. Ishvara was there whenever it was written. Ishvara wrote it. And so time-wise and space-wise, he is an infinite person. This is his glory. But then the 3rd verse says that if you think this is all his glory, please think again, because this is just a small part here. Padaha and Tripadaha, Tripadurdhvaha, etc. So this is just a poetic thing, 1/4. Just like you said, Atyatishtat Dashangulam, he is more than 10 fingers above Bhumim Vishvato Vritva. It doesn't mean only 10 fingers. It means amazingly more than that. But similarly here also, the padaha, so pada means a quarter. The pada is a very famous explanation in the Mandukya Upanishad that some of us just recently concluded. Recently means about, I think, more a year back, I don't know. But anyway, padaha is not just a quarter, it means a very small portion. Very small portion. And in fact, this is Swami Maheshananji gives a very beautiful analogy to this. So he said, suppose you are looking at the mirror, looking at yourself in the mirror. So now your reflection in the mirror is something that you are enjoying. Not just enjoying, it is necessary. For those of us that have to shave, those of us that have to put lipstick on, those of us that have to comb our hair, I don't have much problems in doing that. So the reflection is necessary and it's enjoyable, it's good. The reflection is a very small part of who you are, isn't it? I mean, if you look at, if you were to make an inventory of your whole life, your knowledge, I am a master's holder, PhD, how many hours, how many years you've spent in learning that, and I am the daughter of such and such, and I have 3 kids, and I am the second level manager at Cisco system. Goes on and on. You have a lot of glory. You have history, you have future, you have connections. Out of that, your reflection is also one of your possessions. You can say that, this morning when I was looking at the mirror and I saw that there was a black spot here. So the reflection is also part of your possessions. But what a small part of your possessions. And so as we will see later, the entire creation is a small reflection of Ishvara. We will see this in more detail as we go on. Talking of that, I was saying today is already the 4th class, and I had announced that we were going to have a 16-week session. Please forgive me if we run over, because the subject matter, if it continues on, unless you're bored or something, in which case I can speed up. You can write to me and says, Vijaji, can you please, this is going too long. Just wrap it up, will you? Then I will listen to you. Otherwise, I'm just going to go on and on. The 16-week is really just a ruse to get you into the class. After that, whatever time it takes, it takes. So we're going to see that in more detail about that the world is a reflection of Ishvara, how it is a reflection of Ishvara. So that's a good example by Swami Maheshananji, because he says that in his commentary on these verses, that really speaking, this should be seen as not just 1 quarter, and there is 1 quarter is the universe, and then 3 quarters is something else here. Urdha divihi. So there's some translation. I won't take these English translation by literally. He says established in heaven, as though 3 quarters of them it is in heaven and 1 quarter is on the earth. It's not like that. Means it is unseen. It's unseen, and there's a lot behind it. And again, bringing the concept that we went over in the last class, or last couple of classes actually, which is that our drishti, our vision, our goal is to discover the similarity between Paramatma and myself, the Jivatma. So we are very good at discussing the dissimilarities, but we need to focus on the similarity. And beginning with the similarity, once you begin to see, well, I do also have a lot very similar to what Ishvara has, then the identity will come. Identity between Jiveshwara, identity is not going to happen all of a sudden. There is an intermediate step. You have to at least look at similarity. And so I drew those two circles last time, were touching at one point. One is a very smaller circle and the other one is a bigger circle. And both are similar. And both are nothing but an upadhi, just a supposed enclosure to space. And so once you have similarity, then you will see the identity of the space. That comes later on, but at least we should look at the similarity. So here, for example, just to give you an idea, he says, Etavanasya mahima ataha jaya guscha purushaha pado asya vishwabhutani tripadasya amritam divi tripadurdaha udait purushaha padaha asya iha abhavat punaha tato vishwang vyakramat sashanashanane abhi. Just look at this number 4 now, and then we will wrap it up as the entire, all four into, we will look at the whole thing as a unit, verses number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So just a few more words about the verse 4. So here it says, Tripat urdhvaha udait purushaha. So he says that the Purusha from time to time rises up above the visible universe. It's not time to time. He's always rising above the universe. He's continuously above the universe. And the expression of his creation comes up again and again. But then he never really, that is just a very small portion of it. Okay? And so just to say it, so padaha asya iha means that the quarter, the padaha asya means Ishvarasya, Purushasya. The Purusha's pada, the Purusha's one small portion, abhavat punaha, he takes it up again and again. And tataha vishwam avyakramat. And by doing that, while he is in the creation, he is completely enveloping it. And in fact, both in the ashana and anashana. Ashana means the one who eat. One who eat means living beings. These are just poetic words. So you can say living beings and non-living beings. And non-living beings don't eat anything. It's a good thing that your bricks and mortar or anything, they don't need food. They're just sitting there to serve us. But all the living beings, including mice and coronavirus, they want to eat. And so Ishvara supports both of them. We will see how perhaps in detail. So Sashanana Shane Abhi means he takes that unto himself and parades it. And this happens again and again. Okay, now the similarity between Ishvara, Paramatma, and Jivatma is this. Just look at this. If you look at you and I, we ascend away from our lives in the deep sleep. In fact, even in the dream, you can imagine what you are. You're not. This is the point. You're not limited to what you were before you went to sleep. You see? You're not limited to it. It's not as though that's your entire life. If that was your entire life, then we couldn't say Tripad Urdhvahat Purusha, Padaha Asya Vishwabhutani. Then we couldn't say that. Because that is the whole thing. But it is not. Because yes, you have a life, you have some existence, you have some personality, some relationships during when you are awake. But then you are much more than that. And particularly in the deep sleep, it is an amazing what you are. You are in fact united with Brahman. And in fact, this is an amazing thing. You can say, Etavanasya Mahima. Etavanasya Mahima means your Mahima and my Mahima is not like Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, but we do have some history. We've accomplished a lot. That is our Mahima. But that is not the only Mahima we have. When we go to sleep, amazing things happen. The most amazing thing that happens is that our existence during the day cannot touch us. We go beyond it. It's not like the existence is barely touching us. No. This is why if you are highly injured, you're in terrific pain, or that you have had a bad day, you have killed someone. Imagine the thoughts going through a person who murdered someone. What regrets? How much he's paying, and he will pay again during the daytime. But during the night, it all disappears. What a Mahima that is. We should think about that. We are rising above it, untouched by any problems. You may have any kind of problems and so on, it doesn't touch you at night time. And so same thing here. But then you go back to it, aspadaha asya iha abhavat punaha. You go back to the same one. Always ability to rise above. But then as long as you are still as a limited being with lots of undiscovered greatness about yourself, you will come back. And the same thing is there even for the Ishvara. Now if you look at the Ishvara's glory, have you ever thought about, I'm sure you have, how your entire history is stored in Ishvara's cloud? I mean, we have Amazon and Google and Microsoft, all these clouds, they have amazing amount of memory. Amazing memory. It's all put into the cloud and you don't see where it is. You just press on the button and it comes back to you. So they have some memory. Do you know what Ishvara's memory is? I mean infinite. Because in that cloud is stored all your karmas. Every one of them in your last million lives. What you did, what you didn't do, what you did more than you should have, your punya, your papa, all is carefully stored, filed. And and he has a person that takes care of it. Never forgets. Swami Dayananji used to joke. He says, I love this North Indian arati, which says, that everything, sab kuch tera, kya lage mera, everything belongs to you. I don't really have anything, and so on and so forth. I have given everything to you, and so on. So Parameshwara is listening to your arati, that please, just my body belongs to you, my mind belongs to you, it's all yours. So the Ishvara says, wow, this guy is pretty generous, he's given it to me. He's given it to me, that's wonderful, please make a note of it. Okay, so he tells Vishwakarma, the universal architect, that please, Chandragupta. Chandragupta is the accountant. So he tells Chandragupta, please make a note of it. He's given his body, his mind to me. So Chandragupta writes it down. Then a month later, there is another arati in somebody else's house. And Sai Baba temple, there's the same old arati. And the person says, Kya lage mera, sab kuch tera, it is all. Now Ishvara is very confused. He says, wait a second, I'm getting old. But didn't he give his body and mind to me last month? So the Chandragupta says, yes, I think so. It is written it right here. Then Ishvara says, aha, this is just a threat of giving it to me. He doesn't really give it to me. Just like children, they sometimes they are licking their ice cream, and they will give it to a baby for a while, and as soon as the baby lunges towards, he take it back. So something like that. So now, going back to the Mahima of Ishvara, he keeps all of this registers somewhere. He has a complete history, and he has to make a decision that the next life, what are you going to be? What are your desires? What do you deserve? All of that has to be taken into account somewhere. Who does all of this? This is all above. And how to make sure that you are born in the right place that you deserve. There is no mistake. Everything is taken care of, good or bad. This is all stored in some clouds which are not visible to us. This is a Mahima of the Ishvara. Anyway, so the first four, I'll just stop there. There's a lot to be said, but I'll stop there in sort of like a preliminary view of the first four verses. So the first four verses is about describing briefly who Purusha is. You know what it is. In fact, it was interesting. I want to show you this. This is an appropriate so this is the description of Purusha. Okay. So in our Shastra, in fact, even in the Nyaya Shastra, not only Vedanta, but there is agreement in Nyaya Shastra and a lot of the other schools of thought and so on. There is an agreement. I just want to make sure this is not stopped. No, it's working. So there is a definition, and I was thinking I'll just show this to you. So what I'm going to do is to show this to you. And so I hope you can read it. I'm going to hold it hopefully steady. It says, Lakshana Pramanabhyam Artha Siddhi. Lakshana Pramanabhyam Artha Siddhi. This is the definition. Lakshana means a unique characteristic, a unique definition. Only so Artha, let's start backwards. Artha means any one entity, anything, living or non-living, doesn't matter. So when you have to describe a brick, that also has a lakshana. There is a lakshana for brick, lakshana for table, lakshana for chairs, lakshana for you, I. Everything has a lakshana. Lakshana means it's something that uniquely distinguishes you from everything else in the world. It's called lakshana. Then the second thing is pramana. So pramana means, manam means knowledge. Pramanam means, prakarshena manam means a valid means of knowledge. Like for example, manam might be, you can come home and tell your spouse, I saw that person that used to live next to us about 10 years ago. I think I saw him. I'm not sure, but I think I saw him. This is manam. But suppose you actually talked to him, shook his hand, this becomes pramanam. So your spouse cannot say, how do you know? You have a weak memory. Do you think, no, I talked to the person, shook hands with him. I saw him from very close. This is called pramana. And so, two things are required to ascertain any entity, definitely ascertain it. One is lakshana and the other one is pramana. So, the first 4 verses of Purusha Suktam is the lakshana for Purusha. Lakshana for Paramatma, Ishvara. All these are somewhat synonyms, very small differences between them. You can virtually say them, these are interchangeable words. Ishvara, Parameshwara, Vishnu, Shiva, Paramatma, same thing really. So there is a lakshana for it which uniquely distinguishes this Purusha, the person, from everything else in the whole creation. Otherwise it will not be a lakshana. Okay? This is number 1. The second one is pramana. So pramana means there must be some way to ascertain definitively that this is in fact the vastu. Why? Because the lakshana cannot necessarily present until there is a means of knowing. Just like in the example we saw, that you can tell your spouse that I saw such and such person in the farmer's market today. Los Altos has a Thursday's farmer's market. Guess who I met? So this is lakshana. And the pramana is that you are a valid means of knowledge. If you're always joking around and your spouse cannot really trust you, then that is not a pramana. But with all sincerity, you said, honey, guess who did I see today? This is called an apta purusha. Apta purusha means that you have the right temperament to speak the truth. Then that becomes a pramana. In this way, the reason I'm saying that is because Shastra is a valid pramana. It's a valid pramana because it tells about things that we cannot otherwise find out. And it has validity because it's not playing games. And it doesn't have anything to gain from it. So this is what happens in proselytizing religions. In the proselytizing religions, because they are not sure of the validity, they want others as much as possible. So the more recruitment of people, more people who get converted into a given way of doing it, the better they feel. Swami Dayanand used to say that, have you ever seen a physics professor knock on your door and said, excuse me, can I come in? And you say, who are you? What do you want to come in? He says, I just want to explain the laws of physics to you. Cannot happen. But you can have a Mormon recruiter knock on the door. As it happens often, I think some of my students know this. It was interesting. I was teaching a class at somebody's home in Fremont a long time ago. This poor woman just had gotten divorced. She was in very bad shape, and she wanted to learn more about Vedanta, and so we held a class in her home. There were about 6-7 people, and it was all directed toward this one person. And when the class was going on, there was a knock on the door, and there were 2 Mormon missionaries, young boys, smartly dressed, I still remember, tie and black tie and jacket and white shirt, closely cropped hair, and so she said, somebody had talked to her about, and that you should look into Mormon religion. So these people knocked on the door and said, can we come in? And they were about to come in when I asked my host, I said, please, can I just talk to you for a minute? I said, please tell them to come some other time. Tell them we're having a class. And so they were very reluctant. They wanted to really, but they were... Anyway, all I'm saying is that in proselytizing religions, there is some insecurity. Maybe what we are saying is not enough. We want more members. In Vedanta, which is like the physics of life, yes, we do send out an ad, because otherwise it's nice to let people know if you're interested, you could learn this. It's like, Stanford or Berkeley sending out and saying, we are starting a physics program. If you are interested, please come. But they don't badger you. And so here, Shastra is a valid pramana because it has no axe to grind. It just says, please, you don't see some things and you're suffering. Please understand the physics of life. That's all. So this is the pramana, and we will go into more the detail. Let's see, how much time do we have? It's 8:36. Okay. So anyway, so there are these 2 factors, lakshana and pramana, that uniquely ascertain the identity of an entity. Here's what I'm saying. And the first 4 verses define the lakshana of Ishvara. How? Because it is the only entity. I'm saying entity in English. It sounds funny. Really called vastu. Vastu. So it's not a thing, but it's a conscious entity. So I think entity is okay. It's the only entity that has these characteristics. What characteristics? Sahasra Shirshaha, Sahasra Akshaha, Sahasra Path, Bhumim Vishwataha Vritva, Atyatishta Dashangulam, Purusha Eva Idagum Sarvam. Whatever you see is nothing but Purusha alone. And whatever it used to be, Yat Bhutam, Yat Cha Bhavyam, what is going to be. And I made a note about Amritatasva Ishanaha. Yeah, there was a commentary by Swami Maheshananji which I didn't bring out last week. So let me talk about Amritatasya Ishanaha. So this will reverberate as a theme throughout Purusha Suktam. So it makes sense to at least introduce you here. So what it means is Ishvara independently expresses himself to be known by anyone. He is not under the control and saying you cannot know, you do not know, you can know, you may know, nothing. It is available for understanding by all forever. Independently expresses himself. And also another thing, he's very fond of expressing himself. Again, I'm using the male term himself just as a placeholder. So he's very fond of expressing himself through infinite ways. Infinite ways. Here I can say one thing, although I'm mixing both. I need to go over very quickly both pramana as well as lakshana. And I'm not sure that I'll be finishing it, but let me give you this one interesting thing. And so suppose you are living in San Francisco and you have a friend who's visiting you from New York, who's never been to San Francisco. And he said, I'm coming for a meeting with my company, but I would like to stay a couple of days with you. And if you could show me the various parts of San Francisco, I'd very much appreciate it. So he said, absolutely, come. So you start with Golden Gate Bridge, then you take him to Twin Peaks, you ride the cable cars, Ghirardelli Square, the new ferry building, the new Chase Center, the AT&T Park. I mean, you have really Alcatraz, you go through and so on and so forth. And then you're both very tired, you sit down for a cup of coffee in the afternoon. And so you asked your friend, what do you think? He says, all that was good, but I came here to see San Francisco, and you never showed me San Francisco. You only showed me Golden Gate Park and Ferry Building and AT&T Park and so on. You kept telling me this is what this is what it is, and so on and so forth. But I came here to look at San Francisco, and you didn't tell me that. I don't think anybody would be that foolish. But you know what? We are that foolish and much more foolish than that. Why? Because Ishvara expresses himself in all infinite forms. We're going to talk a lot about this. Brahmanaha, Kshatriyaha, Shudraha, Vaishyaha, Samudraha, all these kinds of various things and so on. And then we say, where is Ishvara? You have not shown me San Francisco. My God. So, in the very beginning it says, he is very fond of expressing yourself in so many ways. So many ways. It's amazing. From cobra snakes to your pet dog, to your loving wife and husband, to your enemies, to coronavirus. There is no limit to his variety through which this is his hobby. It's not like saying, you know what, I'm just going to create maybe about 2,000 things. After that, I'm not going to do anything. No! This is infinite. I remember, in fact, this was interesting because before I met Swami Dayanandji in 1976, There was one question from my dad which I was never able to really to answer equitably. So he was saying, my dad used to say, listen, don't you think that, you're saying, he was telling me, that people gain moksha and then they don't come back. They don't have to come back again and again once you are done. So he says, in that case, even though it is slow, it is difficult, the population should decrease. But we don't see the population decreasing. It seems to increase. And I was arguing about this, that, or the other, and so on. And I still remember this so well. On the very first satsang in that week in Humboldt in 1976, I asked this question. I said, Swamiji, my dad asked me this question, and I don't know. He asked me one thing. He says, he didn't know me very well at all, hardly even knew me. So he says, what is your profession? So I said, Swamiji, engineer. So he says, you are a scientist then, So engineering means you have, it's an applied science. So I said, yes. He said, do you understand infinity? There was my answer. No one had ever told me that before. That's really what I followed him. One word, he says, there is infinity in everything. It is not large. And so this infinity is the lakshana of Ishvara. And so this is one part of it. 8:45. There are two things I want to communicate, and I don't know if I'll have time to do both of them. Okay, let's look at something which is a lakshana. Okay, let's look at lakshana. I was going to talk about both of them in some detail, but let's see how far we go. We'll just talk about lakshana. So, the lakshana for Ishvara, like that professor, you remember the example we took last week where I had concocted an example where the professor was saying, please count all of the things in this room and don't leave anything out. And I also constructed a hypothetical answer that everybody missed the light, sunlight. Well, this is exactly what is happening in our lives. Exactly what is happening. Because something so obvious it is so obvious that we overlook it. Just like, supposing the professor at the end, he says, nobody got an A+. You all missed one thing. And they'll say, why? What happened? What did we miss? The sunlight. And you know what the student's reaction would be? Groans. Oh no, that... No, we all knew that. There was nothing. The professor said, I told you to give me everything. In fact, without the light, you would not be able to see anything. It's the most important thing. How could you forget it? This is so no, but this is exactly what happens in our life also. Oh no, that's awareness and consciousness and sakshi, and so that's there. But really, what I want to know is, what do I do for reaching Ishvara? So in Hindi they'll say, Are Buddhu, O foolish person, look at the lakshana of Ishvara. And what is the lakshana of Ishvara? That In fact, the Lakshana of Ishvara is given in the Shastra in many ways. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Taittiriya Upanishad. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So, it has, in fact it looks like there are three things. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Does Ishvara have these three aspects? No. They are all singular in Ishvara. They are not separate. Like for example, in the ocean, whether the waves are visible or not, they are inside the ocean. And whether the waves depart from the ocean in the air, like a spark from a water, they are still ocean. There is no difference to the ocean. Ocean is not made out of as a sum of parts. They are there, the ocean is always the same. And the waves may be there, may not be there, but when they are there, they are all still the ocean again. Similarly here, Swami Maheshananda gives a beautiful example. He said, supposing there is this, for those of us from India, you will see mango. And so in north, for example, we have this mango called Langda. Langda mango. And it's the most delicious mango. It is a matter of taste anyway. But if you look at mango, so the mango has taste, color, an aroma, taste, smell, a sense of touch. So it has all of these. Are they separate from each other? No. They are all, there's a single mango. And mango has all these qualities that can be approached in different ways. So for example, supposing there is a fruit seller who's selling mangoes, and a very obviously blind person comes in to buy. He's with a cane and so on and so forth. So the shopkeeper also will say, please put it next to your nose and see what an aroma. He says, wow, this is ripe and you can touch it. I'll buy it. And when a person who is not blind comes in, from a very distance he can see, wow, what a color. So how you approach it may be different, but it's all one thing. So the point here is that Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam are not separate things. They are all in the Ishvara alone. It can be seen as whether it is physical, it is or not, it is made out of knowledge or not, and does it have any limitations or not. Those are three different aspects depending on what your doubts are. Just like in the case of whether you are blind or not blind, but it's a single thing. Here, we'll conclude actually with this, I think. You will see, let's look at Satyam as the Lakshana. I'm talking about the description of the Lakshana of Purusha. This is what I'm talking about. So, out of the Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, let's leave aside the Jnanam and Anantam. Let's look at Satyam. There's the Lakshana. Now, I think we have gone over this in the last few classes, and if we have not, then please forgive me. I think I have that the Lakshana of Satyam. Remember, there are three classes: Satyam, Asatyam, which is Tucham, and Mithya. So just as a reminder, what is the definition of Satyam? The definition of Satyam is it is never ever untrue. Never. Under any circumstances. It is not untrue. So we have a hard time visualizing. How can anything be always there? And why does it say that always? Because Sahasra Shirsha Purusha sa bhumim vishvato vritva Purusha eva idagam sarvam yad bhutam yatcha bhavyam. Time-wise, at any point, vastu-wise, desha kalataha, always there. This is the definition of Satyam. Okay, alright. This being the definition of Satyam, this being the filter through which you examine, is this Satyam? You know, just like that professor who said, okay, one which lights up everything is the Lakshana of the light. Here, we will say the Lakshana of Satyam is, Lakshana of Ishvara is Satyam. Examine yourself, please, at this point. Are my eyes Satyam? No. At one point they were not there, and one point they will not be there. And during the night it also disappears. So immediately fails the test. Not Satyam. You look at anything about yourself. Your memory is Satyam? Your friendship Satyam? Is your marriage Satyam? Definitely not the marriage. So, anything that you have doesn't pass the mustard as Satyam. So you declare, I don't see Satyam here. I don't see Ishvara here, because this is the Purusha. You know? So the Purusha is your eyes the Purusha? In order for it to be Purusha, then it must be Satyam, and it's not. So it is not Purusha. So everything about your life is not Purusha. So you declare, he's not here. Shastra never puts you on. And Shastra says something. You have to take it seriously. For your own benefit. You don't have to take it. If you don't want it, please, that's fine. But if you want moksha, then please watch what Shastra is saying. The Shastra is saying Ishvara, the Purusha, the Brahman is Satyam. This is the Lakshana. But you say, but I can't find him. So how can I say that? Have you overlooked one other thing that you did not check? Oh really? What is that? You. Me? But I cannot, it's not Satyam because I was not there, I was not there at one time. This we have to examine whether you were there or not. But at least do the following. Look at yourself as a conscious being. Has it ever disappeared in your lifetime? Can you not agree that for any portion of your life, any stage of your life, any part of your life, the consciousness, you, the conscious entity is always there? Your body keeps changing, your mind keeps changing, your friendship keeps changing, your relationships keep changing, your knowledge keeps changing, everything about you, but you are conscious of it. Has it ever changed? Oh, yeah, that's okay, fine, I can understand that. But still, okay, all throughout my life I am the same person. So it has passed some kind of, like you pass hurdles. A lot of these runners, they fall down or they knock down the hurdles or something, and so you keep going and fine. The body has not crossed the hurdle, the mind has not crossed the hurdle, all these things have not crossed the hurdle. But me, the consciousness has crossed all the hurdles. But I say, but wait a minute. I was not there at some point in time, and my consciousness will not be there when I die. What about that? So we say one step at a time. You do agree that during your life there is one thing that is a candidate for being Satya. Do you agree or not? So I'll say reluctantly, okay, alright, but doesn't matter whether I agree or not, it's all going to disappear. That it's going to disappear is your conjecture, my dear. It is not going to disappear. That is the mistake. You are throwing the baby with the bathwater. How? Because you're abandoning, you know that all this tamasha, this whole play is going to end one day, and you are prepared for it. You may not be prepared, but there's no choice. It's going to end one day. And you think that while washing the baby, the consciousness will also disappear. This is what you think. But at least you've gone through all these hurdles and you agree that the consciousness is the closest thing to the lakshana of Purusha. Yeah, okay, I get it, but there's a big but. That we'll have to see. That really speaking, it's a mistake what you're calling as a stoppable one which is disappearing as an entity. But it doesn't, but you think that we'll have to see separately. But at least you have crossed all the other hurdles. That this is, if Ishvara, if Purusha is there, then the only chance for it to be successful is if it is you. Don't you see that? So the similarity is there, now the identity have to be proven. So this is the Lakshana. And then we will go into the Pramana. And I think we have already covered a few of them. But I think more specifically we will go into the Pramana of ascertaining the Purusha, not only the Lakshana, but also the Pramana. And with that analysis, our the meaning of the first 4 verses of Purusha Suktam would have been covered, more or less. And then a new way of looking at Purusha with verse number 5 will start, and I think from next week on itself. Tasmat virada jayata virajo ati purushaha sa jato atyarichyata paschad bhumi mato puraha. This is a huge topic. I was telling you, Swami Maheshananji has taken, if I'm not mistaken, 200 pages on this topic that starts with, this is called Mula Mantra. So I think we'll be in a position to start the Mula Mantra from next time. I also forgot to give you the Shanti mantra, Tato Tataha Urdhvam Urdha Tataha. So that I will do again next time. I forgot to do that. I was prepared to teach it today, but it didn't come up. So I will send you the text for it, as Chandra had asked for last week, and also teach it. Hopefully, I won't forget next week. So we will with that. Let us end the class and then go into any questions that you may have. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay. Next time I forgot to do that. Okay, let me see. Okay, I don't see any questions per se. Namaste to all of you who are here. Not many people have logged in. There are 54 watching, but a very small number have logged into to the chat window, which is fine. I just wanted to see if there's any. So I'll wait for a couple of more minutes to see if you have any. So Raj Velpuri says, pardon me for any confusion on my part. You were switching between Ishvara and Purusha via comments such as Ishvara, the Purusha is Brahman, Satyam. Are you differentiating? You're saying, no, there is no differentiation. So the only thing that happens is that we will clarify later is that Brahman is the content of Ishvara. Brahman is the content of Ishvara, just like water is the content of ocean. See, the water is the content of the ocean, and a wave is Jivatma, and the entire ocean is Paramatma. So the word Purusha can apply to either Paramatma or Jivatma. It can apply to an ocean or to a wave. The word Purusha. So that is a synonym for Ishvara. but really the reality of Ishvara, the very content of Ishvara. So the word wave or the ocean is just a name. It doesn't have a separate content away from water. So it cannot, as though you can say, okay, just you can take as a ocean, you take your own thing and leave me as a water. No. So the ocean is a water plus a name. So similarly, Ishvara is Brahman, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman, plus a function and a name. He's got a function. He's got to make sure that everything is working well. And the similarly thing is that the Jivatma, is the same content but a different personality. I think I am very limited, I've got problems in life and so on. So the association of problems with me and so on is just a name. There is no reality to it. The only reality is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Same Purusha. Anyway, this is not an easy thing to, we will go those in more detail. Sam Dillon says, Pramana Bhyam means valid means of knowing the Vastu. Yes. Pramana Bhyam, by Bhyam here means through the valid means you can know the Vastu. Yes, that is correct. Okay. Anything else? I'll wait. No, Sam says Artha is the Siddhi of ascertaining. No, Artha is the entity. Say Artha means the thing that we are trying to ascertain. That thing is ascertained with the help of Lakshana and Pramana. Yeah, that's how it is. Virendra Singh says, what is the reason for describing Satyam Jnanam Anantam as Purusha in poetic form and studying it and interpreting it, the truth by it? Well, the reason for that is to see if you can discover some glory that you possess that you don't understand yet. And by not knowing that glory, we are suffering. That's all. So that is the reason for studying all this. You know that very famous story that there was a boy who was his father had died and he was now left to manage a small farm, and he was really struggling and really considered committing suicide. The farm was not doing enough for him. And one day he visited his father's friend who said, why do you look so sad? So he says, I don't know, I'm not a good farmer and I don't know if I can make it work, and my kids are suffering, my wife is suffering, and my life is really in bad shape. So he says, aha, I think you know about the treasure buried underneath your ground, don't you? So he says, no, I don't understand what treasure you're talking about. He says, well, your father was a very good friend of mine and he was a very successful farmer, and he bought a lot of precious gold from his earnings and he buried it inside the property somewhere. He actually told me that he's burying it. He didn't tell me exactly what spot it is, but you only have quarter of an acre. It's got to be there somewhere. So just start digging. It cannot be more than a couple of feet deep. And yes, it's going to take some effort. The boy started digging and he found it. And his struggles were over. Similarly is the Shastra. Shastra says, please, don't be despondent, don't be sad. You are sad because you have not looked into possessing this Mahima. As we talked about Apyaya Dikshita last time, that he was accusing Shiva of taking all the wonderful things and leaving me nothing. And Shiva said, you have it, my friend. You just have to discover it. And so that is the purpose for describing Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Okay. (9:13). Any other questions? If not, very good. We will hopefully see you next week. Om.